Swashbucklers, you're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 82. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm your host for the show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for telling your friends. That is what keeps this show going. Fun fact about the number 82, and this is a less fun fact, but I will give you a funner fact after. I know funner's not a word. Shut up. Number 82 is the number of Trip Murphy's car in Herbie Fully Loaded. That is played by Matt Dillon in the 2005 remake of the Herbie movies, the Love Bug movies, which, frankly, I never saw because they shouldn't have done that. Herbie's original number was 53, which I wish I'd have noticed that on episode number 53. But back on the original Herbie movies, which are the better ones, not the remake ones, Herbie's number was 53, which apparently came from Don Drysdale's baseball number because one of the directors liked Don Drysdale. So anyway, a fun fact and a funner fact. We'll chalk it up to that. My guests on the show today are Bruce Mercury and TL Jones of Band of Pirates. And Band of Pirates is a thing. It's a movie. It's books. It's going to be a series of shows on one of these streaming services they're working. We're going to hear all about that. It's music. There's lots of Band of Pirates stuff that they're doing. And I admire anybody that puts together independent film. It is such a huge hassle to get that many people to work together and to find the financing and to all distribution and all that kind of stuff. It's craziness. So we're going to talk about the Band of Pirates independent film, plus the books that they're putting out and what they're planning for the series and all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to get into that in just a second. I am recording this a little bit ahead of time. A full week ahead of time, in fact, because I'm currently in London. As you're listening to this, I am not here. I am in London. I am not in my office, in my studio here where I am now. I am in London with my girlfriend, and we are deeply entrenched in London and English history. We're visiting museums. We are eating British food. We are doing all the touristy things. We're probably slightly damp because that's, I think, part of the experience we're going to have. We may have had adventures trying to figure out the London Underground Tube. I will tell you all about it when I get back on the next episode. It'll be lots of fun. But so anyway, I'm recording this slightly ahead of time. So if the world has exploded since you've last heard the show, or if something tragic, crazy, awesome, / whatever has happened in the last week, I don't know about it yet, but we'll talk about it when I get back. So lots of fun stuff. Here's something that we can talk about, though. March, we are doing the podcasting community as a whole is doing a podcasting drive. And what we're doing is just trying to get the word out about podcasting because a lot of people don't know about it yet. And what's nice is it's free. Other stuff, Netflix, HBO, Hulu Plus, Amazon Prime, that all costs money. Podcasting is free. You're listening to this for free. It's great, right? It is. But a lot of people don't know about it yet. And I know for a lot of you listening, Under the Crossbones is your first podcast. You've told me so, and I appreciate that. I'm honored to be your first podcast. But there are thousands of podcasts out there. So there's a couple things that you can do. Tell a friend. Tell a stranger. You stand in line for coffee. Guy in front of you looks bored. Tell him about podcasting. Ask him what he listens to. Tell him what you listen to. It's great. But when you're working online and you're talking about podcasts online, you're saying, hey, this new episode of Under the Crossbones is super awesome, and you're putting that on Twitter. To use two hashtags, right? One hashtag is hashtag trypod, TRY pod, trypod, right? And the other one is hashtag UTCpod. That is the hashtag for Under the Crossbones, which was tricky to figure out a hashtag that wasn't being used yet that applied. There was soccer, there was golf, there was random pirate stuff. Anyway, so use the hashtag trypod and hashtag UTCpod when you are talking about Under the Crossbones online or just any other podcast. And if you're curious about other podcasts, you should also be listening to History of Pirates, the Pirate History Podcast. Those are two. History of Pirates podcast, Pirate History Podcast, separate shows, both great. Scoundrels Inn, Pirate Music Podcast. You should be listening to that. The Dork Forest, Jackie Cation's podcast about dorkdoms. And you can hear me on there on an episode a few months back talking about pirates. Mousetalgia, if you're a Disney person, you should be listening to Mousetalgia. That's a wonderful show. If you like documentaries, check out What's Up Doc. That is a great one. The Jackie and Laurie Show, if you want to hear some of the deep in the background details about what it's like being a comedian, particularly a lady comedian, listen to the Jackie and Laurie Show with Jackie Cation and Laurie Kilmartin. If you like your booze, check out the Barrel Proof Comedy podcast. They get on there and they talk funny things and booze, whiskey, rum, beer, all sorts of stuff. And it's a good show. It's a fun show with those guys. And yes, so tell people about podcasting. And again, those hashtags are hashtag tripod and hashtag UTCpod for Under the Crossbones, of course. Yes. And so I'm in London, like I said, and this Thursday, March the 16th, I'll be performing at the Monkey Business Comedy Club at the Camden Eye in London. So if you're in London, come out and say hi and see the show. It's going to be fun. Tuesday, March the 21st, I'll be back in California playing O'Malley's in Mountain View, California. Wednesday, March the 22nd, the 6th Street Playhouse, Santa Rosa, California. Thursday, March the 23rd, The Office in Ukiah, California. Friday, March the 24th, Spice Monkey in Oakland, California. And Sunday, March the 26th, at the Crow's Nest in Santa Cruz, California. Those are all headlining shows. And yes, I am going to be back in the groove, hitting the ground running as soon as I get back from the vacation. In April, I will be in Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota doing a bunch of dates out there. Those are going to be super fun. If you want to find out where I'm going to be and if I'm going to be near you anytime soon, go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the tour dates button. That'll show you all the stuff I've got coming up. If you're enjoying the show, come join us over on Facebook, facebook.com/underthecrossbones. On Twitter, we're at twitter.com/undercrossbones. No the in that one. And, of course, make sure you're subscribed. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all those places are everywhere. Yes. And if you haven't heard my new single yet, called I Want to Rock Socially Responsibly, it's on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere where you downloady, streamy, kind of music-y thingies. Look up Phil Johnson Roadside Traction, and you will find I Want to Rock there, the new single. If you want to help support the show, that would be nice of you. You would be super cool. Like I said, podcasts are free, but they're not free to produce. Yay! Yeah. So come by the support page, underthecrossbones.com/support. And you can, there's a PayPal box there. You just donate. You drop in whatever amount of money you feel is appropriate is for you. And that's great. And if you can't donate, that's cool. Tell a friend. That's the other way that you can help out. There's an Amazon banner on that page there as well. You click that Amazon banner, you go to Amazon, you buy yourself something nice, maybe a new pirate hat, maybe a new a sword, maybe an above-ground swimming pool, or a pack of batteries. You can get everything there. And Amazon kicks me back a few shekels, and it doesn't cost you anything. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, super cheap, super easy. You can contact me from the support page, and you can sponsor the show with whatever piratey product or service that you are pushing. All right, let's do this. I gotta go back. I'm gonna go to a museum or something now and be damp. And let's get into my interview with Bruce Mercury and TL Jones from Band of Pirates. Enjoy. You are a man of many projects, music, movies, books, all sorts of stuff, and all sort of under the brand name Band of Pirates. Is that kind of right?
Yes.
Great. So tell me a little bit about the projects. Tell me what you're involved in currently.
Pretty much what I'm doing is we just finished the new novel, and it's called Peter and the Band of Pirates.
All right.
And it's available on Amazon.com, and TL Jones and I wrote it, and it's based on the movie we did 16 years ago in Hawaii, Band of Pirates, Buccaneer Island.
Okay.
And we put out the movie, and I thought, this is only part of the story here, and we left a lot out doing the movie. And we decided we wanted to get into novels, so we started on the novel and wrote the whole story, and then we realized we're about 2/3 of the way through it, and said, well, Pirates of the Caribbean had come out by this point, and it had all the fantasy elements of, walking skeletons and blah, blah. So we thought, well, this gives an opportunity to put some fantasy stuff in the novel, which we couldn't do in the book, in the movie.
Sure.
So we added some fantasy elements to it, and to make it more fun, right?
Yeah, just very few. It's a hint. There's more fantasy to come in the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, the sequel. So basically, after the book was done, and for years since the first movie was done, we've had people go, "Well, when are you going to make a sequel to the movie?" And we're like, "Well, I don't know, but we'll work on it." So I eventually figured out in my mind what we wanted to do, and I thought, well, I like the fantasy element because that's what seems like what people want to see nowadays. Everybody's got to have fantasy. So I thought, okay, so I wrote like a 100-page script for the sequel, adding the fantasy elements into it,
Uh-huh.
and we figured it out. 5 countries. It starts in England and then goes down into the Caribbean and Mexico and Puerto Rico, and we added up the budget, and I about fell off the couch. With the hotel bills of a month and the plane tickets and everything. So it just got too expensive.
Sure.
So I don't know if you follow the market, but lately, all these companies like Netflix and Amazon and Stars and HBO, they're like hungry for TV shows, and they're buying TV shows.
Yeah, they're buying everything.
Yeah, I said, I'm killing myself on this movie idea because the money was just too much. I said, I'm going to turn the script into a series, into a pirate series, because Black Sails is going off the air. This is the last season of Black Sails.
Right, we need a replacement.
Even the captain, he's already jumped ship, and he's now the space captain on Lost in Space. Oh, it's going to be. Yeah. He's gone from pirate captain to space captain. So he's gone, and the show's over, and there's no pirate show on TV whatsoever.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, this seems like a big opportunity. So
the current project is
the pilot.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a pilot.
That's great. Give me a thumbnail sketch of the story. What's the plot basic?
It's really the second adventure, and
the first part of the story is Band of Pirates, basically. Peter and the Band of Pirates in the book, and the first movie is called Band of Pirates, Buccaneer Island, and it's the story of the younger Guthrie's from the Guthrie family. They're an English family, and the father is a famous explorer, and he's been gone on exhibition for a few years, and he's basically been missing for a couple of years. And the younger generation, Lydia and William, Lydia is a teenager, and she basically is raising her younger brother, William, and they live with their cousin, and they're taking care of the home estate. And they get a letter from their missing father, and it's about a treasure, and it includes a map. So they decide that they need to go follow the map in order to find their father.
Okay.
And the whole movie's about their journey, and they encounter pirates, and it becomes a serious action adventure from there.
And adventure ensues.
They go to an island, and they follow the map. It's a treasure map, and it's a treasure adventure. So they go looking for the treasure, and they bump into pirates who were also looking for the treasure, and it's a treasure hunt, basically.
Great.
Tale of survival.
And a tale of survival. Yeah, the pirates are pretty serious, I don't want to call it Treasure Island because it's not Treasure Island, but it's a chase scene, and it takes place on an island, and it has, the family versus the pirates. So part of it's pretty gritty, and but it's not so gritty that it's not for kids or teenagers.
Well, because the boys, they start off. Pirates have the guns, the swords, powder, the whole equipment, right?
Sure.
They come on shore, they're ready to fight. The family, they swum to shore, they got nothing. They start off with no weapons at all.
They basically become castaways during a voyage, and then the pirates find out who they are and end up going to the island to chase them.
Right.
And William is a smart boy, and it's a coming of age story, really. He has to grow up pretty fast because these pirates are out to get them, and he has to help defend the family.
So he figures out, well, we need to take their weapons and away from them so we can defend ourselves.
Sure.
So he tricks them and builds traps, and the pirates fall into the traps. As soon as they do, he runs up and gets their guns and their swords and all their weapons. And by the middle of the movie, both sides are evenly matched as far as guns and swords. So that's the way it progresses.
Nice. That sounds like a fun story.
Yeah, it becomes a race for the map or the treasure. Whichever the pirates can get their hands on, they don't care. But the family manage to stay ahead of them, so it really becomes a race for the treasure. And eventually the sides, they do become even out, and at the end, it becomes a matter of who gets the treasure.
Right. Nice. That sounds fun.
So, yeah, well, that story is pretty gritty, but early on, we did decide that we wanted to make the story a trilogy.
Oh, okay.
So early on, we knew we wanted to do, a multi-story series. And we also knew we wanted to add a fantasy element at some point. This was many, many years ago. So we've had the story in mind for many, many years. And we actually started out with our first script, Band of Pirates, Buccaneer Island. That's how we got started. We both wanted to write a pirate story, and we put our heads together, and that's, what we came up with. And we knew early on we wanted to do a series, and we even had our poster, Band of Pirates, Buccaneer Island, and this was before Pirates of the Caribbean was announced. So as independents, this has been a long road for us, with limited resources that we put together to make this all happen.
Sure, yeah. Now, what made you guys want to do a pirate thing? What drew you into the pirate world?
Well, I'll tell you that. Now we're going back to the beginning. I was in the movie Hook.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's funny because it was my coming out to Hollywood was my first movie that I got in as an actor. And it was like being on the modern day Wizard of Oz. Because we was, I was the drunken pirate. I always had a bottle, and I staggered around Neverland for 3.5 months. But the funny thing about it was, we'd be on the set, and all these big stars would come to the set. I mean, huge, the biggest stars in town, and you'd be looking over your shoulder, and so Warren Beatty would be there, or Susan Sarandon, the list just went on. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Hollywood, all these big stars. And then I went on after the movie, I went on to MacGyver, and I looked around and go, where's all the big stars? There's nobody here. Kind of like, this is the way it is, not like Hook.
Right.
Yeah, as nobody cares on these TV shows. So, but the Hook thing, it just seems so cool, and so many people were into it, and I really liked being, just playing a drunken pirate. It seemed fun at the time.
Nice.
So I was like, whoa, and nobody else was making any pirate stuff. I already knew, all the pirates on Hook, and I'm like, well, man, we should make our own movie, So back in 1999, it was a few years after Hook.
98, I think.
We started on it, and we went to Hawaii to shoot the whole thing to make it look cool, and we went to locations that nobody had ever been into before. I mean, we had to hike miles to go to certain locations, and so
that's the great thing about the movie. Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of locations. I mean, we really hiked our butts off, and it was such a great experience, But that's added a lot of production value to what is basically a small independent movie, Yeah,
if you want to see the movie, your listeners are out there. It's on VMO.
Okay.
Pay-per-view. I think it's $3.99 or something. And the director's cut version, which is the new cut with some widescreen with some new HD footage in it. That's the new cut.
It'll be available on Amazon too. We're just switching over from Amazon's old platform to their new platform.
Oh yeah, over to Video Direct.
Yeah, so we have some technical standards that we have to upgrade, and then it'll be up on Amazon again.
Yep, I had to do the same thing.
Yeah, so VMO is the place to go right now, and I mean, unfortunately, it's playing on some other websites we shall not name, in like Timbuktu and China and Europe, that once your movie is pirated up there's no way to get it off.
Right.
I didn't want to do another movie per se, because even the big, like a Star Wars, as soon as it comes out, it's for free on the internet. And I'm like, this is, I can't afford that. So I thought, doing a TV series, watch a Fox show or an NBC show, there's a huge big logo on the screen. It says Fox.
Sure.
So people are not apt to steal their footage. So that's one reason we wanted to do a TV show, is not to get ripped off.
Well, the platforms like VMO and Amazon help us with that too. I mean, they're pretty protected platforms, and they're opening up a lot of opportunities. Amazon's opening up new opportunities because they have their new channel offer where you can start your own channel, things like that. So we're looking into basically creating more original programming, and we have this franchise pirate trilogy already. So that's what we're now taking the first movie. We made the movie, we made it, we franchised it into a book, and now we're going to turn it into a series. So, with the sequels, it just fits the television format.
Certainly, yeah.
With the digital, video on demand and it being so popular, we just feel that that's where the opportunity is.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you, I really like the Amazon Video Direct. I have a couple of my stand-up specials on there, and the best part about it is that they let Prime members watch stuff for free. It's just included in their membership. So with that, people are willing to just kind of take a winger on something that they might not have thought to look at otherwise, whereas Netflix it's a very gated garden. Tough to get in there unless you've got the connections, but this Amazon one is much, much more open. It's been really good for my stuff, so I'm sure it's good for everybody else too.
Oh, that's great. And as to introduce readers, I actually did write a free book to introduce them to the Band of Pirates series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's called The Guthrie Family Adventures, and the first short story it's going to be a series of short stories about the family, the Guthrie family, while they're in England before their adventures abroad, and it's basically a prequel. And The Guthrie Family Adventures, the first book, is called An Oh So Curious Boy, and it's about William's adventures in his own backyard in London, or outside London, at their home estate. And you can get that free as a Prime member.
Oh, good.
And that's one. I have 3 short stories planned, and that's the first one.
That's really great.
And yeah, that's just to introduce them to the characters and the Guthrie family. And,
the main book, Peter and the Band of Pirates, it's an epic. It's over 700 pages, people. So, I mean, I think it's more bang for your buck than just about anything you can get. I mean, 700 pages to keep you going, about a week to read? So, it's a pretty good deal.
Oh, I forget, Harry Potter was long, some of those books. Oh, so it's not unheard of.
Yeah,
there you go.
7, 8.
Yeah, it's an easy read.
Yeah, that's great. So making an independent film 20 years ago was a much different experience than filming your own stuff now. What kind of stuff did you have to go through? I mean, it was more expensive. The gear wasn't as good.
Actually, the Band of Pirates Buccaneer Island is the first digital pirate movie ever made, as far as we know.
Okay.
We didn't realize how at the beginning of the digital revolution we were at. I thought the digital equipment and the cameras had been out a long time. So when we first made, when we first bought our first camera and our first editing equipment, it was like, I thought I thought other people had that, but it was actually one of the earliest digital cameras. It was a Canon XL1,
and the computers were really crappy and slow.
And compared to now, I mean, back then, hard drives only, a big hard drive was 20 gigs.
Sure.
It was ridiculous.
That was a big hard drive, 20 gigs. It's very different now,
Certainly, yeah.
We were coming off of, we shot at NTSC with all Canon cameras at the time. It looked pretty good for the time. Now things have progressed hugely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I say, it was the first digital pirate movie ever made. And when we went to go shop it, the distributors were like, they were like, ew.
Yeah, we're still not accepting. That was like the beginning.
Like crap.
Yeah, they were still into film, and nobody was really pushing digital films at that time. We were one of the earliest.
Yeah, they had a really bad attitude.
Filmmakers to actually push digital.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, because it's a much different look, and people just weren't quite used to it back then, I imagine.
No, they weren't really open to it then, and that was like at American Film Market. And we ended up actually just, using the VOD channels that were available to us.
Sure.
At the time.
Yeah, we finally got distribution. We got on Netflix, the DVDs. We got worldwide. We got on phones. We got worldwide distribution. I mean, I think the movie's pretty good, and it still stands up, 16 years later. I mean, yeah, I'm biting at the bit to shoot 4K, and I have a friend that just bought a Helium Red 8K.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to shoot the pilot at least 4K.
Yeah, and if we have a great cast in the movie too. Elise Murto, who's got a recurring role on The Last Ship. She's plays one of the main characters, Molly. She plays our cousin Molly Guthrie.
Okay.
She did a great job in the movie, and we have just some great pirates. One of the pirates is Patrick Lankey. He's a famous world champion jouster in real life.
Huh.
Yeah, he goes by the name the Black Knight, and he has a website and he has a book out about jousting. And I think he was on a Discovery reality
he's been on all the shows. He's
yeah,
the Mayhem, Discovery. He has a new show called Tilt. It's going to be on some network right now.
Neat.
And he's also going to be in the pilot as a knight/pirate.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of morphed into the pilot. What you asked me, 5 minutes ago, what we were going to do with the pilot, and I've seen most of these pirate movies ever made, and I don't think I've ever seen one where there was kind of pirate and knight together.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
No, and the next adventure, the family has returned from the Caribbean, and they're back at their house, so they've saved the house from the tax man. That's one reason they went to go get the treasure, because the tax man was going to foreclose. So, and they still have a bit of treasure left, but they never did find their father. And the little kid he's like crying, I never found my father. I want to go look for him, and we have some money. Let's get a ship and go back to the Caribbean and look for him. So Lydia's like, well, I guess we have to. So that sets up the next adventure. And when they go to pay the tax man the bill on the estate, the little kid discovers a hidden map in the treasure chest that they'd never seen. It was hidden in the lining, and they find a new map, and it sets them off onto a new adventure.
Neat. That'll be good.
I think even the movies we're going to develop will be a new adventure for the family.
Sure.
Right. And we'll be introducing that otherworldly fantasy element as we go along as well, too. So really, the surprise is that it becomes an origin story that is a part of a popular myth. So I won't give it away now, but, we promise a lot of magic and a lot of fantasy elements for the fantasy fans out there.
Nice. So what's your timeline look like? When do you start shooting the pilot?
We're hoping to shoot in July.
Okay.
And we've got quite a few ducks in a row. We've got people over there that we can put up the cast and the crew and help us with this and that. And our main thing that's really slowed us down was getting the right star to be in the show. Because Johnny Depp is a big pair of shoes to follow.
Certainly.
No, there's not too many people out there that are considered real sword fighters.
Sure.
And, when you go see a pirate thing, you're expecting sword fighting.
Of course.
And, I could say, so we're in talks with somebody right now, but all I can tell you is it's somebody that everybody knows, and they know him as a premier sword fighter. The guy's been in A pictures, and he's had TV series where he was the lead.
Nice.
So, and he's interested, and if he comes on board and does the show and the pilot, I think we have a really good chance of getting picked up by one of the networks, because this guy's been around and everybody knows him. So, and I think people want to see him do another show.
Sure. Yeah. And I think that's part of the thing that people don't always understand about this, is that having somebody with a name attached to your project is oftentimes the most important thing in getting the thing sold.
Definitely helpful.
The most important, because the first thing everybody asks, who's in it?
Right.
And if they haven't heard the person that you mentioned, they're like, next.
Yeah.
They don't care. You go to many people, and it's like, oh, if Matt Damon's in it, we don't want it. It's got to be huge, or they don't care.
Sure.
It's a challenge, but we persevere.
I admire it greatly, because it's such a complicated process to get anything like that made. And you have to rely on so many other people. That's why I'm a comedian. I can do everything myself.
That's one reason we wrote the books too, so we could get our story out there and not have to wait on anyone, and be able to tell our stories. Because basically, that's who we are. We're storytellers. We create original stories. we have other stories, coming out too that have nothing to do with pirates. So we have other content that we developed as well.
We have a science fiction shark novel that's finished.
Okay. What's the name of that one?
A little diversion of
well, right now it's
the pirate thing, but we're sci-fi fans as well.
It's tentatively called Super Jaws.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I say the
homage to the shark genre.
I mean, I tell you the story on that really quick. I'm sure sharks and pirates kind of go along in a strange way. The book's finished, and we're trying to get that out the door in a few months. But the way that came about was, since I was on Hook, and Steven Spielberg was the director of Hook and Jaws, got to talking about Jaws and what he had to go through to make the movie. And Jaws is like my favorite movie, I have to say. And I know some other people that swear that's their favorite movie too. And so I was like all ears when he was talking about Jaws.
Sure.
And we're like, oh, yeah, we're going to make another one. And it's like, and he just kind of like paused and think, and probably not, So I had a dream. I had a dream one night, and it was such a bizarre, crazy dream that I was like, wow, this actually might work. So I wrote it down. I said, TL, I had this crazy dream, and I told her the crux of it, and she says, wow, that's a really cool idea. You should write that down. So I started writing it down, and the more I wrote it, I like, wow, that's really scary and cool.
It's basically a sci-fi fantasy horror movie about
right,
sharks. Our concern too with writing a shark movie is that we can bring awareness to the plight of sharks out there.
That's what you wanted to do.
And she has an organization, a nonprofit that helps support basically shark conservation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We really wanted to incorporate that and just, let people know when we write the book about shark conservation and help support that effort.
Nice. That's really great. Now, there's a musical element to all your pirate stuff, too. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, well, I mean, you see a pirate film, and not too many have this, but there's always a tavern scene, and if you've been to England, people get drunk and they sing in the taverns a lot in England.
Right.
We got to have a couple of scenes and it is the band of pirates, and the band of pirates is actually a band also. So when they're not sailing around pillaging, when they hit the tavern, they do sing. So it gives something for the crew to do. So I have original songs, and I wanted the same thing. So I wrote 3 pirate songs to be performed in the pirate show.
Nice.
And maybe not the whole thing's going to be seen, but we'll shoot it. And the other aspect was we wanted to get the casting. We wanted to have some British rock star type, which we've actually talked to a few. And they were like, "Oh, pirate songs, singing, yeah, this sounds very cool." So they wanted to be a part of it too. And so that's the idea. We're going to have some British rock stars, in the tavern singing pirate songs. I mean, it should be fun.
That sounds really cool. That sounds great. So where's the best place online for people to come and check out all the cool stuff you guys are doing?
The main website's bandofpirates.com.
Okay, great. Well, I will make sure to link that up in the show notes.
It's got links to all the stuff that we sell and the songs. There are a couple songs that are released on Amazon and like iTunes. So get the idea what we're going for.
Yeah, Bruce did a couple songs that he sang in the original movie. One of them he sang in the original movie, an old folk tune, pirate folk tune, and then we wrote a couple of original pirate songs. 2 of them have been released, and the lyrics are in the book, actually, Peter and the Band of Pirates. So you can read the lyrics in that book and also get the tunes on cdbaby.com.
Excellent.
Bruce Mercury and the Band of Pirates.
Yes, Bruce Mercury and the Band of Pirates.
Nice. Fantastic, you guys. Well, that is great. I'll make sure to put all that stuff in the show notes, and we will send people to check out all the interesting and cool activities you guys do. I like to see people who spread the wealth and put out all sorts of stuff, because I do that too. So that's really neat. Is there anything I didn't ask you guys about that you want everybody to know?
Some of the people that were in the original movie, Band of Pirates, Buccaneer Island, are pirate reenactors. Some of them do it professionally. Some of them do it for fun. And, we love it, and we love seeing it.
Well, tell your fans to that they need to keep going to the website, because what we're going to do at some point, if we don't find all the investor money for the pilot, it's probably going to go up on crowdfunding.
Uh-huh.
And all these people that might, that have a multi-$1,000 outfit playing pirates, to do a crowdfunding thing, and there are about 15 roles available on the pilot, and we're going to be doing the crowdfunding thing where people can come in and they pay for perks and they can get on the show.
Very cool.
There's an actor or a co-producer or whatever, but we are going to raise money this winter up till July.
Great.
So if anybody wants to be a part of the Band of Pirates TV show, now's the time to get in.
There we go. I like it. Cool. So bandofpirates.com, and definitely keep in touch with me and let me know how all that stuff is going. Thank you very much for taking the time out to come on the show, you guys, today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Well, let's talk again soon.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And there it is, friends. That is my interview with Bruce Mercury and TL Jones from Band of Pirates. And you should check out their movie, and you should check out their books and their music and all that kind of stuff. Go to bandofpirates.com to find out all about the stuff that we're doing. By the way, I did check on Netflix. You can get Band of Pirates if you have the DVD version of Netflix, not streaming yet. I'm sure they're trying to take care of that and get it on the streaming as well soon. Under the Crossbones is sponsored today by Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast, WKKC-DB, playing the best music in pirate talk radio. You can listen to Under the Crossbones on both of their stations. Just go to pirateradioofthetreasurecoast.com or pirateradiotc.com. And don't forget to download the apps. They've got the Pirate Radio Treasure Coast app, which is their music station, and Pirate Radio Talk, which is their talk station. So go check out Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast. If you have been to a pirate event, a pirate attraction, a pirate festival, any of that recently, I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear your story. I would like to hear your adventures, and I would like to play them on the show, which would be fun to get everybody involved. So do this. Call and leave me a voicemail at this number, 408-599-2733. Again, that's 408-599-2733. Leave me a voicemail with your adventures, and if it's cool, I'll play it on the show. Got a little survey I need you to fill out real quick. It's like 7 questions, take you about a minute. There's no research involved. It's all stuff you already know. And it is a demographic survey of sorts, because I want to know where I need to be taking this show for live podcasts, different things you might be interested in. And the survey will help me do all that to drive the future of this show, and I would appreciate it. Go to underthecrossbones.com/survey to take that survey. Take you just a couple minutes. It's real easy. Okay. And what do we got? The ebook, Alexander Exquemlin's Pirates of Panama, or Buccaneers of America, whichever title you prefer. It's a seminal piece of pirate writing from the golden age of piracy. The guy was a doctor. He ended up on pirate ships with all the dudes, and he wrote down his adventures, and it's a great book that you should read. Go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the free ebook button, and you can download it right there. Or if you're out and about, and all you have is your little expensive pocket computer on you, just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Okay, friends, that is our show for today. Again, you can find out more about Bruce Mercury and TL Jones by going to bandofpirates.com. Keep leaving those iTunes reviews. Keep telling your friends, all that kind of good stuff. Come online, tell me what you think of the show, and tell your friends about the show. All that kind of good stuff. All right, I am still in London, but I will be back next week, and we'll be live, and we'll talk about whatever happened this week. All right, thanks again. See you next time.